Alright, so welcome back to another episode of Driveway. Today we're going to tackle these ramps for this bumper piece that we just made in the last episode or so. And I've kind of got it laid out here on how I plan on assembling this thing. So, let's lose the bugs and come check it out. Alright, so at the end of the last episode, I kind of showed how I was planning on attaching these to the bumper piece. But this is kind of what we're going for. There's going to be a hinge spot here. This is a 6-foot section, and then this is another 6-foot section. So we're going to be nearly 12 foot long, and the whole idea of it is one piece will fold up behind the truck, taking a gate with it, and then this second set will pivot and will lay down pretty much like that. So essentially what that means is I'm going to have to figure out a spot to put the hinge piece, because since it doesn't fit completely flat, I'm going to need to offset the hinge a little bit. So basically it'll be something along the lines of welding it right like this. So actually this will probably be a little bit that way, or we could have it right on the end. Looks like it lines up properly there. Maybe we might do that. Match it straight up, we can hook it right there. Then when we hinge, that part out, it'll be something like that. A little bit of a gap to jump. So we'll have to come in and sink it in a little further here, so that way we get this overlap. Well, I think I'm going to have to hit the quick calculator here, figure out exactly where we need to put the pivot points. Because it's probably going to be easier to do that with these pipes before they're welded up. And if you're wondering, these are the same 2-inch by 3-inch 120 wall tubes that I use for the bumper, and they will work for these ramps. Now, I won't be able to free span it, so the design calls for right about in the middle. We'll just put a jack stand, probably just take one of these cheap jack stands. It's a tripod style with a platform. Set that right in the middle, so that way it can carry the load, and we should be set up perfectly. So, I suppose let me go figure out the old calculations here, and we'll see what we end up with. Alright, so I got our pivot holes mounted. I got the 2 pivot holes for the attachment to the truck bumper. So these are going to be where the other set of ramps fold upon itself. So I still have to hack those out and put their little bushing guy in, and then we should be pretty good there. Definitely getting a little bit better with the plasma cutter. And then this old beater of a welder, it's like some days you think it's just going to bite the dust, and then we put down some pretty respectable burns. I mean, in all actuality, if that came back from a welding shop, I wouldn't really complain. All right, so anyways, we got that. We're gonna let that cool off. I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes out here. They are something fierce recently. So we'll tackle that on another day for the other section of ramp. And then all that we'll have to do is just zap in all the, I don't know, cleats that we can call them. Or rungs, depending on how you want to look at it. But either way, then we can tackle that and we'll pretty much be done. We'll probably have to find some way to weld on something to pin it so it doesn't flap around. And I don't think running a bungee cord type of thing is the best concept. So we'll continue on. Down to about 500 psi in our shielding tank, so we'll be probably needing one of those again probably before we start the next set of ramps, because this first set will probably consume the rest of that bottle. So hopefully we can get that before weekend. All right, so I got one tank of gas burned down. So I can go refill that, and I should have enough gas to hit the rest of them. But you can see how this kind of pans out now. And you got yourself a ramp. So, that is a fourth of the way done. So I'll have to continue burning them in, and we'll bring you back for when it's time to bolt that second half in. Alright, so here you see the gist of the ramp. We've got the 2 sections hinged there, jack stand holding at the hinge point. So that's going to be the entire concept of this. It's like my rungs between. It's going to take me a little longer to finish them off because when I had them all cut, I was too close of tolerance. So we got, with a little bit of welding and wibbly wobblies, we're looking at maybe an extra 1/4 inch that I decided to take off just to give us the wiggle room. But this does allow us to kind of show off how this entire concept is supposed to work. Now, of course, I don't have the lifting mechanism rigged up or anything, so we're just going to have to run it as is here, but the whole concept is we take the entire ramp here and it folds up a little something like that. Still not 100% sure if I'm just going to go with the classic garage door springs on cables, if I'm going to make some sort of pneumatic lift, But right now, that's looking pretty nice there. So, I'm thinking there's just a heck of a lot of welding left. So I'm probably going to leave it off here. Thanks for stopping by and watching, and this thing will be pretty much done next time you see it. Later.